do you think hard work can ever become a form of unbelief? Like you are trying very hard to have maximum control over the outcomes of your business
I think
dealings.
that when hard work becomes a form of unbelief, then you are banking everything on your strength
Okay.
at the end of the day. So when your strength then is failing, then it looks like, because then what you have done is that you have directly tied your hard work to your worth.
Yeah.
But as kingdom entrepreneurs, we are not owners. Owners in this kingdom are rebels. Yeah, we have been called to steward. So God gives Emmanuel a vision. It's in Emmanuel's place to steward it. And when Emmanuel feels like things are rough, he needs to go back to the CEO of Heaven Incorporation, God, and sit with him and go like, guy, this thing that you said I should do it is not going the way it's supposed to go. And that's when now you know that you're stewarding, but you're also dependent on an intelligence and a power that's greater than you, which is God. And that's why I always say that God for me is the greatest entrepreneur I know. He built a business in 6 days. He retired on the 7th day. It's been 2,000 plus years and his business hasn't collapsed. He's employed 8 billion people. We're all working for him. And every day he makes sure everything, even when one of his board of directors, because he said, let us. So when one of his board of directors tried to overthrow the system, he still dealt with it and it's still been functioning all along. So I believe that hard work becomes unbelief when now you are banking everything on your strength. You're banking everything on your strategy. You're banking everything. So at that point, it feels like you've taken the God factor out. And then it's just you, your intellect, your strength, pushing. And at some point, you can hit a place where because you've done so much and nothing seems to be working. But for all you know, it's just maybe one God factor somewhere that will just alter everything for you, you know. So.
Yeah, that's rightly said. We'll move on to finding what to build in this part of our world, right? And Moses, you're always mentioning that building wealth comes from being valuable, you being repeatable and practical. But Emmanuel, you're also doing very well with fun packaging in Ghana. It's so exciting to have these two gentlemen here for this podcast. My question really is, for somebody starting from zero with nothing, where do we even begin? And Emmanuel, I'll start with you on that question.
I mean, it's like what Moses said earlier. What are your strengths? Don't look into someone else's plate and think that what they have made for themselves would taste the same for you. You don't know what demons they've gone through, what stress they've gone through to get there. You know, if I told you what I've been through to build my business over the past 12 years, you'd be like, hey, let me sit back. But first of all, God really calls you or aligns you to a vision that applies to you and to your generations that are to come. The only key to all, the only secret left is obedience. For me, one prayer I always pray is for the amplified voice of the Spirit in my head. When Jesus died, again, he left the ultimate gift for us, which is the Holy Spirit. That voice in your head that people have now commoditized to say your conscience, this. No, that is the Holy Spirit speaking to you. We need to be able to be in tune with that voice, to be able to listen out to that voice, where sometimes you're driving, you're walking, you're thinking, and then they keep hitting on a particular point. It could be one word, it could be one sentence that really says, hey, look into this or do this. But to be able to get to that point, you need to really be able to understand how God even speaks to you. How God would speak to me is different from how he speaks to Moses, different from how he would speak to you. You need to really be able to understand that voice and then learn how to be obedient on the voice. So in terms of knowing what business to start, it really comes from your history. What are you studying in school? It's as simple as what are you interested in? What do you have the resources in? What do you think that you can convince people? Are you able to convince people to do things? Then you have a career in sales.
That's right.
Are you able to create things with your hands? Then look into engineering. Are you able to bake? Are you able to cook? Look at your talents. Don't look too far.
Don't look too far.
Simple as that.
I'll come to you.
Sometimes I think we overcomplicate the Christianity. The Christianity, this Christian walk is supposed to be far simple than we make it.
They want to hear my son.
Yeah.
Get out from amongst them.
But Moses, I'll come back to you with a my son. Do you think God reveals what you are supposed to do in the marketplace? He will show you the gaps in the marketplace for you to do, or it's just by you trying out things and figuring things out and doing what you think is best for you?
Let me show you a scripture.
All right, let's delve into that.
Proverbs 20 verse 5. It says that the purpose of a man's heart are deep waters, but a man of understanding draws them out.
Yeah.
The purposes of a man's heart are deep waters, but a man of understanding draws them out. Now notice that the purpose is already in you.
Yeah.
It is discovery, not invention, that becomes the assignment.
Let's take it again.
So the purpose is already in you. It is the discovery of that purpose, not the invention of it. That is your assignment. So it says that the purposes of a man's heart are deep waters, but a man of understanding draws them out. No wonder the Bible says that understanding shall be the stability of the times. Because for loads of people, their purposes are in their hearts like deep waters. There's just one thing that they do. They lack understanding. There's something my partner and I do from time to time. Sometimes we'll call our workers. We want to know what is happening in their lives. And sometimes we direct them. It's as though you are directing them and they already have an answer of what they probably want to do already. Case in point, we had a brother of ours who wanted to buy an iPhone. And he came to us with an amount. He said 8,000. And we said, go and negotiate. So he comes back and he says, oh, they said 7,000, but they are ready to discount to 6,008. And we're like, okay. And he says, oh, it's coming from UK used. So we're like, well, per what we know and per what we've observed on the market, the thing is about 5,000 to 5,003. Of course, you're saying business watch. But he was still trying to argue it out. So typically of us, at that point, you see where understanding comes in for young people. So the purpose is that I want to get a phone. But you need understanding to be able to know what phone to get, at what price point, for you to also save some amount of money. So we just let him be. And then I think because we let him be, he was just there and then he remembered somebody in his church sells the same type of phones. So he contacted the person and the person said, oh, I have the same thing, it's 5,000. Confirming the price point that we had already made an inquiry of. But because he had UK, you see, it gave a certain perception. So our work at the end of the day as believers is that each and every one of us have a purpose.
Yeah.
And it is our work to sit with ourselves to be able to discover that purpose.
Mm.
And that really is a lot of the assignments for loads of people. And I like where my brother picked it up from, because some of the times your purpose or your assignment is in your strengths. Some of the times it's in what you are pained about. There's a guy I like in the scriptures. He's called Moses. He's an Israelite by birth. He's moved from his place of birth because God needs to protect him. He goes through Egypt. He's learned and schooled and all the wisdoms of Egypt. Then something interesting happens. One day he's moving amongst the Israelites and an Egyptian is beating his own people. Nothing happened to him, but something happened to him.
Yeah.
Because he's not identified as those people. In fact, he's a prince of Egyptian bearing, but by heart and at core, he was pained. And so some of the times you are discovering your purpose through pain. And it's that pain that moved Moses to kill the Egyptian, and he fled. And in that he found purpose, and he has to come back and rescue the same people that he left. So some of the times it's in your strength. Some of the time is in what you are pained about. Some of the time is in what gets you upset. I shared a story on when I recorded 30 lessons in 30 years. I said one of the things that initially was driving me for making wealth was when I was growing up. At some point, went for our day, my brother, and Juvita, I never drank some. So I saw somebody our day, they brought a lot. I went to beg and she insulted me and insulted my father. And yes, she insulted me and Kasa. So that day I said, I will make money in life. When I make money, I'll build a factory. They will produce Juvita for me to drink. When they produce, I'll collapse it. Now, you see that pain, it fueled something in my heart.
Yeah.
But as I grew and I became more conscious, I realized that, okay, what was fueling my heart was wrong. Even though that pain had channeled something inside of me, it was wrong. So then I needed to now unlearn and rather create a better meaning for why I wanted to be successful. So today, if you ask me why I want to be wealthy, I want to see my fellow man become better versions of themselves. And that's why I'll put out an event, Trailblazers Unite, free, let young people come together. But at first I'll say, so that I'll build a Juvita factory, produce Juvita for me and collapse it. So does God help us identify the gaps? Yes. But most of the times he will place it in your heart. It is up to you to now sit down and then discover the gaps that he's brought in. Some of the times you are looking at something from a different lens, and God will just whisper it to you. And do you know the interesting thing? Most of us think that dealing with God has to be strange. Some of the times God will speak to you through a song. Some of the time he'll speak to you through a post you saw. Sometimes it will even be your mother. Some of the times it will even be something somebody passes. But the onus is now on you to be able to be in sync. Like my brother said earlier, that when somebody speaks, are you able to quickly discern and know that this thing that he said, it could be God talking to him to speak to me about this particular thing, So God helps us to identify the gaps. And that's how come you, like I said, you're a CEO of your business, but you also want to be in touch with the CEO of Heaven Incorporated so that he can talk to you. Yeah.
And being in touch with the CEO of Heaven Incorporated, we want to talk about clarity.
Okay.
Most of the times as Christians, before we make a move, we want to seek clarity from God. So the question is waiting for clarity slowing people down in their business? And Emmanuel, I'll throw that to you, right? Before you make that move, do you think waiting for God to clarify the things you're supposed to do is slowing a lot of people down?
100%. Sometimes people fall victim to it. I have fallen victim to it a number of times, because us saying we're waiting for clarity means that no matter whether it fails or not, we are not trusting God to know that he will still bring us through it. Because he has given you his commitment that no matter what, come rain or high water, I'm with you. I will never forsake you. He says, call unto me and I will answer. I will show you great and mighty things you do not know. But you will not know if you're sitting down waiting for clarity. You need to take that first step. You need to move, put one foot ahead of the other. Send that inquiry, make that call. You want to be able to supply someone like Moses. You don't know him from anywhere. You have his Instagram. Send a DM and just add a prayer to the back of it that it pushes straight to his attention. How did Nadia get all of us here today? She sent a message. We've never met her.
Absolutely.
And then look at it today. Fast forward after many schedule changes. We're all here today.
Shout out to Nadia, by the way.
So it's the clarity honestly defeats action. If we sit down, sure, it's okay to have a fair idea. And it's up to you to do the homework behind it to make sure this is valuable or viable, to ensure you don't have money. But honestly, how much more time do we have left on this earth that we're sitting down waiting? We need to push. Because back to the parable of the talents again, this servant did not, was not sure whether his master would punish him or not if he spent it, because he thought his boss was a wicked boss. So he did nothing. The 5 and 2, the servants with the 5 and 2 talents all had the same instruction. Just here, hold this money. I'm going out. I'll be back. So if all 3 had decided to sit and wait for clarity, how would we have been telling the story today?
Differently.
So clarity definitely is a hindrance, but we need to support it with some firm foundation in our faith that shows us that, okay, so far as this word came to me, I meant to develop it. I meant to do something. We all have different words that we go. God has given me the mandate to build up my family business, to show that generational businesses are possible in this part of our world. Because it's almost a rarity. God has given you a vision to also scale up in your field you find yourself for a greater glory. Sometimes we don't have the whole plan now because we don't know how it's going to go. But all I know is that God blesses men through men. So at the end of the day, there's going to get to a point where we feel we've hit a brick wall because we don't have that clarity. And along comes a man that God has just sent that is just passing through. You and I meeting today is not just by coincidence. Something is going to happen. You and I here meeting, and it turns out that I've been working with your company for 12 years. It's not random. So if we are sitting down waiting for clarity, we're going to watch opportunities God has blessed us with just go by the wayside. So don't sit and wait for clarity, guys.
Don't sit and wait. Please move. Moses, do you want to add something to it? Very quickly.
The patriarch of our faith is Abraham. And what makes Abraham the father of faith? He was action-oriented. God comes to him, move, and he moves. According to the principle of first mention, Abraham is the guy to be called very rich first. Now, the principle of first mention is a theologian term, so I don't want to go into that. But when you look at the guy who was called very rich the first time in the Bible, was Abraham, simply because he moved. The interesting thing is that God comes to Abraham, go to a land I'll show you. Where? A lot of believers will say where. If I came to you, Ben, and I said, Charlie, follow me. You go like, where? I said, oh, to a place. Oh, Mo, which place? Oh, we are going here.
You think you're kidnapping him.
So you think I'm kidnapping you. But Abraham follows the lead. So obedience comes in play. And there's something very interesting that as I looked at the story of Abraham, brother, it caught my attention and I'm like, I think a lot of believers should sit up. Mm-hmm. Abraham starts his journey. He comes in, he's blessed. Isaac now comes on the picture. This guy has been hearing God. Mm-hmm. Then he still hears God. Go and kill Isaac. So God gives an instruction. Go and kill. So Abraham takes the step and he's going. And as Abraham is going, he gets to the place. He ties Isaac up. Then God speaks again and says, stop. Look to the thorns. My question is, what if Abraham didn't hear? What if Abraham didn't hear God again? And it's for me is to speak to, there's a crop of believers that they're just banking on what God said and they don't know what God is saying. And it leaves a lot of believers very stagnant in the marketplace. I remember I was consulting for a Christian brother of mine. He has a business in the UK. Things had been rough. And I'll come in and I'm like, bro, I've studied brands and communication. I've studied this. I've studied that. Let's put this in place for your business. It's like I had this dream and the Lord told me that. And I'm like, how long ago did you have that dream? You see, some of the times you think God has to come to you again in another dream to speak to you for you to know that, your business must go to that next level. But he says something beautiful. All blessings come from God through men to men. So there's another man in there somewhere. And angels are messengers. And some of the time, messengers are men. Yeah. So some of the times, God could have spoken to you, but God could come to you again and through Emmanuel, just say something to you that will give you a lot of clarity. You know, there's something he said about how that as a business owner, you should see your business as a ministry and you should see your workers as a congregation. Now, he also said that you should see your customers as the people who benefit from the ministry that you're doing. Now, that statement becomes a sense of direction for a certain business owner right now because they are probably treating their staff anyhow. But every good shepherd would feed their sheep well. Yeah. Every good shepherd will make sure that their sheep is fine. So then it means that this right now is literally a hack for somebody whose business is stale because they think that business is, I'm the boss. Yeah. But when you come to Afrimat Atlantic and you come to site, you can't tell who owns the buildings we are building because I can literally be eating with my security man and a guest will walk in and now not even will get up to know. But another person will go like, I'm the boss. So when I come, you have to, so that becomes a certain sense of clarity for someone. And I think that true clarity in a world of high performance, there's a premium price you have to pay for clarity. But true clarity comes from doing.
True clarity comes from doing.